Reported compute deals at this scale are starting to reshape how we think about inference infrastructure. SpaceX is said to have signed an $11 billion annual agreement to supply computing power to Google. That's $920 million per month. This is unconfirmed, but if it holds, the implication for builders is straightforward. Satellite-based compute is moving from theoretical to operational capital allocation. When you see deals this size flow toward orbital infrastructure, you're watching the industry price in redundancy and latency tolerance differently than it did even 6 months ago. On the model release side, there's a lot of signal worth monitoring. Early previews of something called Oceanus are circulating online, reported to be a checkpoint related to Anthropic's upcoming Claude Mythos model. These are unconfirmed samples, but the outputs are generating genuine attention from operators running inference at scale. Anthropic has indicated general release is weeks away. Separately, API endpoint artifacts for what's called Claude 5 Mythos were spotted in the wild briefly, then removed. Neither of these is confirmed, but taken together, they suggest an imminent release window. What matters operationally is the velocity. If Mythos ships in the next 2 to 4 weeks, infrastructure teams will need to benchmark integration costs against their current Claude deployment patterns. On the institution side, two significant departures from AI2 in the same cycle, Lambert and Finbarr Timbers, are raising harder questions about how open source AI gets sustained in the United States. The field still doesn't have a credible answer to who builds the next OLMO or under what economic structure that happens. This matters because open source infrastructure is no longer a hobby layer. It's a competitive necessity for any team that doesn't want to be fully dependent on closed API providers. Tomorrow's Apple WWDC is reported to include multi-modal AI distribution across over 1 billion devices. This is the largest consumer AI distribution event in operational history. What's significant here is architectural. The operating system is becoming the primary distribution channel for AI models, not app stores, not cloud platforms. That's a structural shift worth noting for anyone building around model accessibility assumptions. And Yoshua Bengio's recent call for an RSI pause is a signal that the safety establishment is now responding to actual frontier signals rather than hypothetical scenarios. This moves the coordination conversation from academic discussion into active policy territory. Watch whether other senior researchers follow with similar formal calls, whether governments treat this as a coordination mechanism worth responding to, and whether frontier labs acknowledge concrete RSI observations in their deployment decisions. That's your AI automation research briefing for Sunday, June 7th, 2026. Stay sharp. I'll see you next time.